Do you think people will vote for me?
Everybody, it's Robert Peppo back again. Small Business Uncensored, episode 12. We're rolling now. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. Today we're going to talk about why it's good to follow people and see them on social media and look up to other businesses, but why you should not compare yourself to them necessarily, whether it's the same exact industry even or if it's a different industry. Okay, so there's a few reasons for that. Number one are no two things are created equal. Not from the beginning, not what you're doing, and not the end goal. So we're going to go through a few of those things to tell you why you should focus on yourself and your own goals. All right, so business itself is pretty simple. You probably want to worry about being profitable. That's number one, or else why would you be in business? You're just wasting your money. And then positive cash flow, so you're not just struggling along the whole time, which does happen in business and is pretty normal, but it shouldn't be that way forever, especially once you get rolling. Now, your goals are also different than anybody else. So whatever you start your business for, whether it's freedom or maybe you do want to be a competitive person and go against somebody in your industry and grow bigger than them or get acquired by a company someday, but everybody's goals are different. So whatever that person you're looking at is doing is probably different than yours. There's no way it's defined exactly the same, which means your pathway to whatever you're going to get is going to be different. And that's why you can't compare yourself, because those differences are going to make different things happen with different outcomes. It will never be the same, okay? Now, people have different things going on in their businesses, even if it's the same industry. Are they advertising different than you? Is their cost of goods different than you? Is their labor cost higher than you? Do they have a higher customer acquisition than you? Maybe you're only doing things organically and they're paying to get new customers in. So that's going to make the business model different. That's going to make what they can do different. That's going to make what you can do different. And that doesn't make one thing better than the other. It just makes it different. So when you see something happening, or that place is super busy, this place has gotten so many orders, that place is growing, they've built another location, you have no idea how they're doing it and why. All right, so to back it up a little bit, people grow up different also. So you don't know if they had more education than you, they had maybe their parents backing, maybe they have huge bank loans and that's why they can do that. You don't compare yourself directly to them because you have no idea unless you go to them directly and ask. You only know what you do, how you're doing it, what you're willing to do, what your plan is, and what your goal is. So when you look at these other people doing it, unless you go directly to them and ask, you probably don't know even 1/10 of why they're doing it, what they've done, and what they're trying to do. However, if you do want to know, you should just go to them and ask. And I have a little story about that for the end of this video. All right, so maybe these people in these companies that you look up to or want to be like, they have an MBA or they've hired an MBA person to come in and help them. Maybe they have their doctorate degree, right? Or maybe you did more schooling than them and you wonder why they're crushing it and you're not. And so there's a reason for that too. Because nothing is going to beat action. Nothing is going to beat a solid plan. I don't care, you can run as many spreadsheets as you want to. You can have big bank loans for hyper growth and to build 5 locations out. It's really not going to matter if you're not profitable and don't have positive cash flow and you're not living the life that you want to live. That's the whole goal here. So since you don't know that, you should really just focus on yourself and your business and your employees and your product and your service and not worry about what anybody else is doing. Keep your eye on them, see what they're doing good and see what they're doing bad, and how can you improve yourself. Not compete against them or mimic them and do what they do, but compete against yourself to be better. That's literally what I do. I see how can I do my best and best myself against my standards. So when I go out and look at somebody and see what they're doing and say, man, that person's crushing it, cool. How am I going to apply those little things to us? I'm not trying to say, well, I want to be like them. Look what they're doing. It's actually, look what they've done. I definitely can do that. I know what we can do as a team and as a group. That's what I'm going to do. I can control that. I can't control what anybody else does. This shit's going to make you crazy. But you can control what you do. All right? Secondly, there are plenty of big businesses and what appears to be successful on the outside who have gone out of business. I'm not going to get into all the examples today, but there should be a podcast that I will do about big businesses that didn't make it. The book Good to Great goes down some of that path of great companies, people who thought they were going to do good and didn't. We could probably name 5 right now just off the top of my head, like Blockbuster or something. But you don't know what they're doing, where they're going. They could be going backwards for all you know. So don't just look at these big companies like they got it all figured out, because they definitely don't. And because things change so much, you need to also be ahead of it for yourself and what you're doing. All right, I just had a great conversation the other day about like where my restaurant is going to be in 10 years and what that looks like with automation and Uber Eats and shit like this. So I'm not really worried about what Jimmy John's or somebody else is doing. In fact, I don't even really look at them. I look at more local, more smaller people who are doing badass stuff. All right, and then I kind of come up with our plan. So another thing, I was listening to a podcast and one of my favorite people, and they were saying they're a business consultant. They do all this, pretty dope. And they go out and they consult for people. And there are smaller companies who are doing way better than bigger companies, because the bigger companies can't manage it right, or have gotten to a size and or grown so much they're not profitable yet, or they can't get their cash flow right, or they owe a lot of money back. And these other businesses are fucking crushing it because they either are just doing it differently, okay, doing it right, or they don't have that crazy ambitious goal to grow to so big. They're incredibly comfortable with what they're doing. And I'm in that weird gray area of that, being extremely happy with what we're doing now and how we've gotten here and what we're doing, and then where I want to go. But I'm never going to walk that line of too much. And I already know where my exit is and what I'm going for and what I think is going to be enough for me. And so I don't really look for anybody else to that, because I can't compare myself, like I've been saying, to them. I have to do it I have to judge myself against my goals, my life today, for my employees and myself. All right. So another thing about getting money and financing, and you just don't know, when you think about if someone comes from a wealthy background and they either make it, you're like, damn, that person made it. You know, they had mom and dad's money. They had somebody help them. But then there's a person that had all the money in the world and fucked it up too. I have those examples as well. And you take all these things into consideration. That's why you just focus on yourself, because there is no prerequisite to success. No one says, oh, you know, you grew up with a rich family, you're going to do good. It's absolutely not fucking true. Or you grew up with nothing, that's what you're going to do. That's absolutely not fucking true. All right. If you develop a nice plan, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. All right. And there isn't one way that's better than the other. So whatever way you go to do it. Say if you don't have any money, well, if you're crushing it on social media, you can do that. Okay, well, if you don't know how to do social media, but if you have a lot of money, well, then you can invest in your people. All right, if you have none of that, go hire somebody who has that. And if you can't, give them a portion of your company to come in, right? So if you're starting a company, you don't know, how do I get somebody in? There are things you can offer, okay? So if you don't have money, you have sweat equity. If you don't have money or skin in the game, you have a skill or knowledge or something you can do to bring to the table. Or when you hire somebody in or build a company, there are different ways to do this. You could say, hey, I'll give you 10% of the company. When we make money, you get 10% of that. I can't pay you today, but if we do good and you crush it and you bring your skill set or your value to the table, then you get part of the company. So when people come together and start companies, sometimes it happens like that. And when you put those pieces together, it can really take off. So that's one of my plans for the future, is to bring people in who are far better than me at certain little things and say, hey, look, you can be part of this company, this parent company, and when we grow, the upside is massive. So we got to put in that time and effort in the beginning, but the upside is 10 times better. Then for all you know, besides social media, kind of getting ideas and inspiration or whatever for whatever you're going to do, a business that you look up to, like, damn, how does Chipotle have 1,000 locations or 20,000 locations? What if that business isn't running good? What if the people aren't actually happy in it? What if they have no time for their relationships? What if their kids aren't involved in the business? There's nothing to leave on. You have no idea. All right. So take the things that you do know, like a product that they do good, mimic that, pictures or videos, or even a business plan, or how they've done it if they've actually done it well. All right. So how we can go forward and what your few things you can do are you could ask the person that you're looking up to. You can literally ask them, what did you do? How did you do it? Maybe they'll tell you, maybe they won't. But if you're just guessing, you're definitely going to be pretty fucking wrong. But if you ask them and they tell you, you're in literally 100 times better position than you were even the day before you talked to them. And I did that actually. So I know a person who does very, very well in their business. And I asked them, hey, would you tell me the way, show me how you've done it. Tell me what you guys have done, and they're like, yeah, I'll do that. And they never did. And I don't know what there's a reason for that. I don't think there's a reason for that other than maybe they don't have it all figured out. And that's okay. That might be pretty normal. And maybe they said, well, it looks great on the outside. It's not really good on the inside. Or actually, we don't like what we did and where we've came to is not really a good spot to be in. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. Hopefully someday I'll find out, and I'm not pushing it. If you're not willing to do that right now, no problem. I'll move on to find another mentor like I've done 2 or 3 other times, and we'll roll that way. Totally fine. But that's where I can excel at is I know, okay, cool, no problem. I don't think about it twice. I don't worry about it. Where you at? I really want to know. I don't do none of that shit because it needs to be authentic and organic. If it's not, then keep fucking going. I'll find another thing. I'll find another person. I'll find another group. I'll find another something. All right. Then get a mentor, right? So it kind of ties into the first one. You ask the person, maybe they'll become your mentor, maybe not, but find somebody. I guarantee there's a lot of other people out there that are willing to talk to you. Like I'm sharing all this for fucking free. My mentors gave it to me for free. I want to just put it out there because I know more will come back to me. I know the connections will come like this. All right. The third thing is you could just do it. You can start with a fucking plan and then do it. And then you adjust as you go. I don't care what it is. If you want to get a promotion in your business, you make a plan for yourself. How do I get to the next level? And you just fucking do it. It is literally not simple. You just start. Okay. Stop bitching and complaining about why you do or don't have the things that you think you want or you aren't where you want to be. It's literally on you. There is nothing else. It's on you. Your success or failure is on you. Yeah, we can say, oh, maybe the market's not so good. Maybe Chicago isn't the best area. But literally, if you don't do it, it's all on you. If you don't get your promotion, maybe it's what you did or didn't do. All right? It's really easy. Do the right things. Do it consistently. Improve yourself. Add value. And these things will fucking happen. It just takes a little bit longer than most people want. So they think it's not going to happen. And then they job hop or they move or they wonder why it's not going to happen. But when they could have been right on the tipping point, except for they just gave the fuck up. Build a team. Get some solid people around you or any of your friends or family or something around you and then go for it. But without a plan and then a team, you can't do it because you can't do everything yourself. You're not good at everything. You may have a strong suit here and not there. So just fill in those gaps with a strong team or friends or develop someone and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Maybe someday we can do something. See if they'll work on it. If not, move the fuck on. It's not a big deal. All right. And don't stop until someone else now looks at you like this. Don't stop until you achieve that. Because if you're going to have to work every day, if you're going to have to deal with bullshit every day, if you're going to have to pay for gas every day or get a house and pay for it, you might as well get a reward for it. You're going to go through this shit anyway. Bullshit's going to happen. So get a reward from it and get it as your goal and your reward being fulfilled. Not what anybody else is doing because that shit ain't you. Make your own goal, make a plan, stick to it. Small business, uncensored, episode 12. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Stay badass, y'all.
Do you think people will vote for me?